September goes by and the girls have no more trouble with soldiers, though they are careful not to pass the two who stopped them. The mothers start to prepare for the hard winter ahead. Because there is no fuel, the winters are very cold. Anne-Marie remarks to her mother that she is lucky to share a bed with her sister since it is warmer that way. Anne-Marie tells her mother she remembers when Kirsty slept in her parents' bed. Anne-Marie worries that the comment will upset her mother because Kirsty slept with them while Liz was still alive. But her mother is not upset, and laughs remembering that Kirsty would sometimes wet the bed. Mrs. Johansson notices that Kirsty's jacket is missing a button. She sends the girls to Mrs. Hirsch's shop. When Anne-Marie, Kirsty and Ellen get there, however, the shop is closed. On the door hangs a sign written in German and labeled with a swastika. Kirsty suggests that maybe the Hirsch family went on a picnic. Mrs. Johansson is upset when Anne-Marie tells her that the shop is closed. Anne-Marie thinks her mother is concerned because Kirsty's coat will still be missing a button. Mrs. Johansson goes to talk with Mrs. Rosen. Later, when Anne-Marie is almost asleep, her mother comes to get her. Peter Nielsen has come for a visit. Anne-Marie is happy to see him, though she knows that it is past curfew and dangerous for him to be there. Peter has brought a seashell for Anne-Marie and beer for her parents. Mr. Johansson seems serious and tells Anne-Marie that the Germans are closing many shops owned by Jews. Peter explains that this is the Germans' way of tormenting and that it has already happened in other countries. Anne-Marie is perplexed. She wants to know why they would close a harmless button shop. She asks how the Hirsch family will earn a living. Mrs. Johansson says that their friends will take care of them. Suddenly, Anne-Marie remembers that the Rosens are Jewish. She is worried about them, but feels better once she remembers that Mr. Rosen is a teacher, not a shop owner. She reminds father of his story about the soldier and young man and says that now all of Denmark must be the bodyguard for the Jews. Peter leaves and they go back to bed. As she falls asleep, Anne-Marie wonders if, now that she is older, she would have the courage to die protecting Denmark's Jews. The thought frightens her, but she reassures herself that people are only called on to die in fairy tales, not in real life. Anne-Marie goes to sleep glad that she would never be called upon for courage. Ellen and Anne-Marie play Gone with the Wind with paper dolls cut from magazines. Anne-Marie is Scarlett and Ellen is Melanie. Ellen is good at using an accent and a sophisticated tone. She likes acting and hit parts in school plays. Mrs. Johansson and Kirsty come home from shoe shopping. Kirsty has been crying, upset that the store only had shoes made of fish skin because there is no leather. Kirsty hates the green color in the scales. Ellen offers to make them black with ink, which quiets Kirsty. Anne-Marie lets Kirsty join their game. They pretend they are going to Tivoli Gardens in Copenhagen. Kirsty says she remembers the fireworks in Tivoli Gardens on her birthday, even though they have been closed since she was very little. Anne-Marie remembers that only a month ago, on her sister's birthday, the Danes destroyed their own naval fleet to keep the Germans from using it. To calm Kirsty, Mrs. Johansson told her that the explosions were fireworks for her birthday. Thinking about this, Anne-Marie does not want to play anymore. Ellen leaves to help her mother prepare for the Jewish New Year. She invites Anne-Marie and Kirsty to come watch her mother light the candles on Thursday night. On Thursday, Anne-Marie and Kirsty see Ellen going to synagogue. In the afternoon, Mrs. Rosen comes by and talks quickly with Mrs. Johansson. Mrs. Johansson tells the girls that Ellen will be coming to stay with them for a few days while the Rosens visit some relatives. Kirsty will sleep in her parents' bed, and Mrs. Johansson promises to tell her a special story. Kirsty asks for a story about a king. They have a big chicken dinner that Mrs. Rosen had made for New Year's. Everyone is quiet except for a giggling Kirsty,